Hey, I'm Sean with Engadget, and today we're taking a look at the North American version of the PlayStation Vita. Sony's been teasing this high-end handheld for a little over a year now, and it hit Japan late last year. Today it's finally heading towards the US shores, and we decided to take a quick look. The Vita is the first mainstream handheld console to rock a dual analog thumbstick layout. It's like a shrunk-down version of the PlayStation 3's DualShock 3 controller, and it fits pretty well. The thumbstick sits just below the Vita's solid directional pad and face buttons. The handheld south edge houses the Vita's proprietary charging port, as well as its analog headphone jack and a slot for removable flash storage, also proprietary. The console's left side houses a slot for the AT&T SIM card that lets you jump on the 3G network, if you have the 3G model, that is. The top houses a game card slot, an accessory port, and also has the unit's power and volume buttons. The console's backside features a large rear-facing touchpad, a unique feature that Sony hopes will offer users a new form of control without crowding the device's fingerprint-prone touchscreen. A pair of matte black plastic ovals flank the touchpad, meant to be used as a pair of grips, but we found our big, adult-sized hands were just a bit too large to comfortably grasp the circular pads. Pressing the PlayStation button on the unit's front turns on the screen, which can be unlocked by peeling the clock away like a giant sticker. The Vita's menu is completely capacitive. Touch is your only avenue of navigation here, but that suited us just fine. In fact, the menu is a natural and intuitive interface. Anyone who's had any time with a modern smartphone will feel right at home here. Apps and games live on a set of vertical screens on the menu's far left side, and open programs fill out the horizontal plane with a bunch of pages called live areas. These are basically home pages for each individual app and sometimes contain shortcuts that go to specific parts of the app rather than just opening the general app. Launching an app or game is as easy as clicking on its live area start tile. Overall, the user interface is usually pretty sleek and smooth, but when launching a game or a resource-heavy app, it sometimes hangs and has a bit of a load time. Things usually look pretty good when they do load. The Vita definitely doesn't have anything on the PlayStation 3, but it still has some of the best graphical chops we've seen on a portable console. Games like Uncharted make the most of the Vita's alternative controls as well, including tilt-to-aim or 6-axis balancing, and touch-controlled climbing and puzzles. The Vita also does a passable job of emulating PSP games, though you have to download them from the PlayStation Store. The PSP emulator also has somewhat of a hidden menu. Long holding the screen brings up a special settings page that lets you turn on smoothing filtering, adjust your color settings to match the original hardware's LCD display, or map the right analog stick to face buttons, the left analog stick, or the directional pad. This setting doesn't make sense for all games, but it's definitely good to know that the secondary joystick isn't cut out from PSP emulation, and it's kind of cool to know that you can still use dual analog on games that really weren't designed for it. It works okay. The PlayStation Store is a pretty straightforward affair on the Vita. You can browse games by various categories, like Vita games, PSP games, or PlayStation Minis. Most of the lists are sorted alphabetically, but unfortunately it doesn't lend itself well to easily browsing. Idly browsing the system for games you're not familiar with just doesn't really work very well. Going into an app's given product page presents you with a standard wall of text describing the game, but doesn't give you any screenshots. It would have been nice to have something more to preview the title before you bought it. As is, we'd recommend going to Google and searching for the game and learning about it there before purchasing a title over the PlayStation Store. The top of the PlayStation Store lets you choose between games and video content, and a similar menu will fill out that'll show you television shows and movies that you can rent or purchase on the device. The store also gives users easy access to their previously downloaded list, showing download history for items downloaded on the Vita and the PS3. As a result, not everything on the list is compatible with the Vita. As you can see here, we have both Mega Man X and Star Wars Battlefront as PSP games, but only Mega Man X is able to be downloaded to the system. So, not all the PSP games on the market are compatible right now, but at least when you're browsing on the Vita, it only shows you the compatible titles. The Vita also has a new Near app that lets you see what other gamers in your areas are playing, and lets you rate your favorite titles to an extent. The Near app isn't completely intuitive to use, and its purpose isn't completely clear, but we're hoping it'll make more sense as users in our area fill out. For more on the PlayStation Vita, please check out our full review on Engadget.com.